Noam went to the Nova in order to paint, in order to create. And she went with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend got murdered. She saved. Out of 25 people inside the trash bin she was hiding, only four of them survived. Our exhibition at the Museum of Tolerance, the exhibition called Art Will Set You Free. And a big part of the work I did with the survivors is part of the show now. I'm an artist who understand what post-trauma is, understand what trauma is, and I have the capacity to handle all those stories and create about them without getting into a dark mode. I wanted to hang out only with people who went through something like this, and that's how it started. So we find ourselves like channeling together and telling the story to each other. So I don't come from a place of, hey, I'm a therapist. The process is very therapeutic. The whole healing process adds up to it as a bonus. It just works. Even when I started to create, after October 7th, I started to create with survivors here, the idea was not, hey, let me heal you guys. I'm not a healer or a therapist or art therapist. So, just the fact that I can listen and handle it and take it all, the process of that become very therapeutic for both sides, even for myself. But when you serve in the military, you got to be a part of the system. You need to understand the system. I think one of the things that I've learned in the military is to play the rules of the system, but also to pushing away limitations for my creation. The IDF has a very big part of who I am in every aspect. In my social life, in my professional life, you're just a different person when you serving with friends that you need to be responsible for them at a very early age, like 18, 19, 20 years old. You're holding a gun and you need to fight the bad guys and you need to protect your boys. So doing something like this in a very early age, that's definitely creating who you're going to become. It's something that I think about almost every day. I can talk to my friend from the military, and I finished my time 20 years ago. So it never goes away, and it always stays with you. But you become a better, stronger person. That the IDF knows how to teach you how to fight with the enemy, but also how to learn from the enemy and how to respect your enemy. I'm a storyteller through my work. I create about my experiences and the people I meet, and I tell their stories and my interpretation into their stories with some kind of, even now, I don't do art because I'm trying to heal someone. I'm doing art for myself because I want to tell a story. When I am in front of the canvas and I create about a certain story, you are sweating that story out, even if it's a trauma or not. So you're getting that out. Something that works better than just talking about that because you create a visual to it. So you keep thinking about that and you're creating about that and you definitely talk to, that's how it started. I just want to tell a story that I think people should hear. So the process of that is very helpful to heal from trauma. I woke up into the alarm at like quarter to seven, maybe, or seven, and my kids and my nephews were at the out of bedroom, which was the safe room already, the mamad. I jumped into it, grabbed my phone. My kids were on their iPad already. They were up. I was shocked. I watched videos. I spoke with my family, and very quick, I realized that it's a different game. I was not shocked. I was not surprised. I know the Hamas capabilities and what they're into and what they believe in. I grew up on this. Well, a few hours went by and I started to see how can I volunteer. All of my friends volunteered. All of my friends drove down south to help out. My surrounding in Israel are people who are very strong Zionists. Everybody served and they reserved. So they put on uniform on and they drove down south. But I don't carry a weapon on me and I don't do reserve. And I stopped fighting with guns many years ago. How can I get a uniform? How can I get a weapon? But obviously, no one even answered. The only people who got back to me were people from Zaka people and bring them to respectful burial. That's the only people got back to me, and they picked me up the day after, and I joined them and helped them out. We first went to the Nova site, and then saw some few buddies there. Then we picked up some stretchers. We got a mission to pick up stretchers and go into Kibbutz Be'eri and start to recover there. And that's what we did. We started to recover. What I saw there, I saw a lot of that people in the weird positions. We just started to pick them up, put them in bags, and put them in the cooling trucks. That's it. I was filming everything. Something has to be captured on cameras because this is abnormal. I didn't see any media over there. No one took pictures. No one took videos, and I thought people need to see it. People need to see what's going on. I was text messaging to my friends and family, and people didn't know what's going on. The first few hours, we realized that so many people got tortured. I thought that people need to know what's going on. So simple as it. I educated a lot of people around the world that didn't know what's going on. Up until today, they're still sending messages about thank you. When I arrived to Los Angeles, I realized that everything I've been doing up until now was okay and good, but had no purpose. I got into a very high depression because I don't want to do anything anymore. I just came back from Israel. I recovered dead bodies from a massacre. And what am I going to do now? Going back to my studio or my other businesses and do what? Then I realized that the only thing I want to do is being around people who took a part in this war. So, in one side, my entire career, business, and financial life crashed and just fell into a huge problem. And in the other hand, I started to hang inside my studio with different survivors. And that was the only thing I wanted to do up until now. I cannot do anything beside creating about their process and the war. And it's the only thing I can do. I cannot do anything else. Andre texted me and he saw what I do with so many others. And he said, listen, I want to come to work at the studio. I'm like, yeah, of course. So we helped him out and I brought him to Los Angeles. And how does it work? It's every time a different process because every person works different, every artist works different. So we talk a lot and we really dive into the little details of the story, and we try to find out like what do we want to tell, what will be our inspiration from that story. Are we going to paint, are we going to draw, are we going to take a photo? So it depends. We just talk a lot and getting connected on a very high level, and we start to draw and create. It's very natural. There is no schematic or formula to it. We need to connect to each other. Like we have to spend some time together in order to get to a very high level of connection. His experience is insane, and I found it very interesting to. I was asking a lot of questions, and just organically we started to create and paint about his story. By the way, he was created more about it by himself, and I was kind of around, and I created about him. It was an interesting process. It was different than others, by the way, with Andre, because Andre created his own story, and I was creating about him. We didn't create on the same piece. I have groups here, 20, 30 people almost every other week for a year and a half. Yeah. Right now, as we speak, it's from the whole war, even reserves who served in Gaza or Lebanon, or people who got evacuated from the north of Israel, or just any person, any type of a person who got affected by the war somehow from Israel. So now, as we speak, I have a Nova survivor right in front of me. She's painting and tell her story. But so I have individuals like residents that are coming to the studio and working here, and I also work with groups. So we include the groups that I've been working in the studio and the individuals. Easy, almost 1,000. A lot of them, really, a lot of them. Now we are showing our exhibition at the Museum of Tolerance, the exhibition called Art Will Set You Free. And big part of the work I did with the survivors is part of the show now. The only thing I think about this museum is bringing 200 students, non-Jews, to the museum. Hundreds of people that are going through this exhibit every day. And I think this is the biggest part. And I'm proud of more than anything else. I want to tell my story to people who don't even have an access that are outside our echo chamber. And I think we made it in with this museum because we tell our story to people that don't even know where Israel is on the map. They never heard about the word Palestine. Very positive. We think because of the media that everybody hates us, but I realize people just don't know. Most people don't know. And when you tell them, and you don't try to convince them, hey, believe me, I'm the good, they're the bad. If you just tell your story from a different perspective, and especially through art, because you bring visual to the context, I think it works amazing. We finally crossed the echo chamber with this, so that makes me happy. They're over. So I think the museum did something super smart and something that a lot of Jewish museums didn't do yet. The fact that specifically non-Jews are coming by, this is the biggest thing. I work with the Jewish people now because we do need it. We are being attacked all over. I'm interested in many other communities, but right now the Jewish people needs us and they need this. And I'm focusing specifically about my brothers and sisters. I care about the Jewish people. I care about Israelis. I care about American Jewish people and any Jewish person around the world who has a sense for art and can see it and draw. We flipped people lives, like we literally changed people life with this, and that's amazing. And that's why we keep on doing this, because the results of these people who can create, they come here, they paint for hours, they want to come back and another day and another day, and they're smiling and they're happy and they're telling their stories. So one in one way they're healing themselves. The other thing is they're talking about their experience. They feel more comfortable doing that through art versus speaking in an interview for Fox 11. They feel very comfortable doing so. And then we take their work and put it in a museum. So what's better than that? Like that's the right way to go. So it's a 2 months program. We want to move the studio to a different area because I'm not in the best place right now. We are creating all these new programs where we bring a Jewish people from any place around the world to 2 months program to work with us and help them to tell their story. Now we want to do 2 months, but it can be 2 weeks, it can be 3 weeks, it can be whatever you can. But I think the goal is to push towards at least 2 months. I'll talk about Noam. She's right here. So Noam went to the Nova in order to paint, in order to create, and she went with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend got murdered. She saved. Out of 25 people inside the trash bin she was hiding, only four of them survived. 21 murdered. And her story is insane. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to make it too graphic, but she went through hell. And for a year and a half, she couldn't get back to work. She couldn't paint. Very depressed, very, very depressed. And then she came here. And after a few hours, we started to paint. And since then, she doesn't leave the studio. Like, she doesn't want to leave the studio. She's still, and her painting is kind of realism style. And she's telling the story of her boyfriend and how they met. And I see it as a renaissance for her because finally she can paint back. She's an artist. This is what she did, for so many years. But for a year and a half, because of her trauma, she couldn't even get back on a canvas. Now she can do it. It's an amazing, and it's happening now as we speak. If I can bring more people to tell their story on the canvas and help them out, that's our goal. At the beginning, the first few months, I did it all out of my bucket. But then I realized that, okay, it doesn't work like that. I created my 501c3 nonprofit. It's called the 8 Project. And now we are fundraising for that. We have different supporters. We need more. It's not enough. And right now, especially with the new model we are coming out, we do need more support in order to help more survivors. There are some survivors that are literally waiting for us to come, and we just need more fund to bring them over. For the residents that are coming from Israel, we pay for the flight as well. We help them and give them everything they can in order to just create, just tell your story and don't stop. Whoever keeps coming here for a few weeks, 100% success. I wanted to hang out only with people who went through something like this, and that's how it started. So we find ourselves like channeling together and telling the story to each other. So I don't come from a place of, hey, I'm a therapist, let me heal you. It's not the case. I'm telling them, hey, I need you to come and create my studio because I need it. Like, I need you to do it for myself, like me. And people like the idea that, okay, we can help some. Let's help donors. So it works just with both sides.